Right. Oh, Carmen, you're always my one. Would you represent Lemuria for us? Someone feel drawn to representing Archangel Michael? Give Paul a break if he wants a break, or Paul, you can hold it again. Up to you. Or not
I
Michael.
take you take a break and give someone else that pleasure.
Yeah. Let's do Metatron again. Anybody feel called to represent Archangel Metatron? Bring his energy in to the field. Also the Palladians and Arcturians. I'm going to bring them again and again.
I'll do Metatron, unless V would prefer. I don't know him personally, but I will feel him.
Okay, let's see what shows up. Thank you. Adele, would you bring in the Arcturians, please? Laura, would you be comfortable bringing in Palladians? Thank you. Laura and Adele, recommendation around representing the cosmic helpers is to remain connected to Earth. It can be tiring to run cosmic energies through the body. So definitely remaining connected to Earth. Do you have any lights or anything like that in the space that you're in, Deidre? Rather have the higher vibration light in the space, not so dark. Susan, would you also bring in high vibration cosmic helpers that need to be here? Paul, would you represent the men of Lemuria? Pinar, would you represent the women of Lemuria?
The words "I'm Lao" is coming to me. I don't know if they're related. I am
The
Lao.
words, I am love?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, bring that in. Let's see what version shows up.
Should I add the women too, or just Lao?
See if that feels different or if they feel like the same. I don't have a ton of knowledge or wisdom, at least this lifetime, about Lemuria. I've been reading a channeled material. Sure. Steph, do you want to choose someone for that?
Can someone come in as Saint Germain, please?
Saint Germain, the Violet Flame. Who would like to represent our group? I may not bring in humans this lifetime, but who would like to represent our group? Do we have a Saint Germain?
Andrea, would you represent Saint Germain?
Who do I represent?
Saint Germain.
Oh, I can. I have no idea what that is.
So do you want to try?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
Saint Germain, known as Saint Germain and the Violet Flame in our personal current consciousness. Zenaida, can you come in as what we need to see and learn? Let's get one. Thank you. Let's start with this and see where we want to go. I'd like to check in with my cosmic helpers first, just to see as we set up the field for safety. A lot of this is about safety. Arcturians, the Palladians, Metatron. Palladians, what's showing up for them? And my normal, they like to be asked, all the cosmic helpers need to be asked. So what I normally invite with them is guidance, wisdom, any blind spots we need to see, protection from low vibration forces, and healing and evolution for us, our DNA. Palladians, what's showing up?
I have have quite a bit where I actually move one of my limbs, and
Laura, I'm going to have you turn
look
off your
to
Laura, I'm going to have you turn off your camera. Your internet's freezing up a little bit. It'll come through if you turn off your picture. It's Volley internet, apparently. I'm learning is not the most reliable.
Is it better now?
Much better.
Is it better now? Yeah. Okay, so I
Yes.
have quite a bit of energy in my body. I constantly move one of them, and I look forward to being here. Just being present and being here.
Thank you for them. Arcturians.
With a lot of energy, extremely a lot of energy. And I'm in a place that seems to be partly on top of water, of a sea or an ocean, and at the same time below. It's not just one level, there are two levels, you know, and the second level is below sea. And there's a lot of energy. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you, welcome. And for all the high vibration forces, also letting us know if any low vibration forces are around or influencing or anything like that. Metatron.
It's interesting how balance and grounding have come up, and this body that I'm in has crushed places, but instantly I find positions to align to get the X, Y, and Z plane all balanced. And I'm excited to have the water here also. Feels like a great start. It's a reminder of the balance within us that we're here the best from.
Thank you. Lemuria, what's showing up there?
Immediately what appeared was a lot of fun, joy, expansiveness, playfulness. Again, this feels more of a concept as opposed to a solid place. It's flowing. The color blue in with the women in love is attracting. It's not attracting. It feels very much the women in love are a part of this. There's a flow there happening. The Arcturians, when they speak of water, this resonates with this. And looking around, when it saw the men of Lemuria, there was this didn't feel glowy, happy, flowy. It just sort of brought this down and reverted over to looking to the women and the love, the high vibe cosmic helpers, the Arcturians, And when Metatron spoke of, the XYZ sort of lining in, this was landing with this one, what that one was saying. There's just like, this feels like a party happening, but with the women especially. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Someone feeling called to represent the water. Someone feeling called to represent the water, the ocean. If someone is, bring that in. Go ahead, Leah. You can bring that in for us. Thank you, Belle. Okay. I've got screens all over the place. Simone, can you help me that? Like it's super spread out all my reps and I can't track it all because I'm looking at 25 frames right now.
I would suggest that you pin them for yourselves, Jack. Because I can spotlight everybody for everybody.
Spotlight see if you can spotlight our reps
Okay.
Thank you for that. Appreciate
And
that.
you with that then as well.
Yes, thank you.
Also, you can go under participants and unshow the ones who you don't want to see so that you just see them and you can move the order around even. And I did want to say that when I was looking at women, that it really helped me feel the grounding, and that I didn't notice the men of Lemuria until they were mentioned aloud.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Jamie Grace. As long as it's relevant, Jamie Grace. As long as it's relevant. Leah will change your name for you. Represent the water. Got it. So Simone, what happened with the spotlight plan?
Yeah, I just changed Leah's name. The spotlighting for some reason does not allow me more than one right now, and I'm working on it. But yeah, if you want to go on your reps in every screen, you just have like
What if I pin? Would that
Yeah,
do the same thing?
that's
or
what I meant.
different?
Pin. You go on those three dots and you pin them for yourselves. Unfortunately, pinning is only individual. So
Excuse me, and have you tried the option hide non-video participants? On the right hand side, there is a view icon, and when you click that, you have a drop down, and there is one hide non-video participants.
perfect.
Got
That's
it.
the quicker solution. Did you find that, Jack?
Already done. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
the
so
Palladians
much,
and
Radiance.
Laurans. Okay. Very helpful. Very helpful. Oh my gosh. I take a breath and redrop in. I want to check in with the women. And that's the women of Lemuria, correct?
Yes.
That role? Thank you. Steph, can you change that?
The women of the Lemuria are the rulers. They're so dignified. They're standing tall, and they're very strong. And there's one spot on the ground I've been looking at. It's a little crack on the wood floor, and I could not move my eyes away from that. I'm very curious about it.
Thank you. Men of Lemuria.
Hey, the first thing when I came in is I am absolutely fascinated with the pictures of all the men in uniform on the wall. And two things. I want to get really close to them to be part of them. But when I do, the noise and the volume in my ears gets to deafening. And it's kind of painful. But I'm attracted. I want to be part of that. I also want to step back and be able to take them all in. And that's a more comfortable position, but I want to do both. So I alternate between the two. The other thing that is very important is order, structure. Everything must be in its place and oriented exactly right. Any of the pictures that were slightly tilted, I had to have perfectly straight. And of all the reps that have spoken so far, I have a strong connection with Lemuria and the women of Lemuria.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Did I not get in a rep for our group? Maybe we did not. So someone feel called to represent for our group, turn on your camera and we will welcome you. Palladians, I want to check in with you once again. Thank you, V.
When I look at women and men of Lemuria, I have this feeling that I see some kind of ancient conflict playing out that involves arms. And when I heard women of Lemuria talk about staring at the crack in the floor, I saw bodies lying there. And then men of Lemuria started talking about all these pictures with men in uniforms and so on. So it started kind of building on that more. And yes, that's about it.
Thank you. Who needs to speak? Lemuria, go ahead.
When the men speak, they take the fun out of this. Everything just gets very still. And yeah, when the women speak, there's expansion, joy, love, fun. But when the men speak, everything drops down. And it's like, man, you guys take the fun out of everything, don't you?
Thank you. Two more reps to come in. Men now and women now. So our reps for men now and women now. If someone feels like you can hold that, just turn your video on. You will show up.
Say I feel really activated, but I don't know that I'm our group.
Yeah, I saw your comments. Thank you. You change your name to represent whatever it is you're representing. Men now. Good. Let's bring in a rep for women now. Thank you, Steph. Yeah, what we need to see and learn, go ahead.
I feel pain on my back. And when you ask to bring the men and the women now, I just feel to hold myself on the desk because I feel and shaking and shivers. At the beginning of the constellation, a group of men, very loud. I couldn't understand. They were passing my street here, which is 2:30 in the morning, and very loud, a lot of them. And there's something that we need to see. It's the men, to look at the men. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, we're getting a different field than this pure Lemurian field, so I'm not sure what is showing up. So let's explore it and see what wants to happen. Thank you. Who needs to speak? Yeah, please.
When Saint Germain was named for Violet Flame, I also raised my hand at the same time, and I noticed that I'm wearing the same color the shirt, and I feel like it's a bit of a twin flame, and I maybe traveled to bring a message or something. I traveled from a long way, but I don't know more than that at this moment.
Thank you. Who else needs to speak?
I have something to say to that for Jamie Grace. Portia was Saint Germain's twin flame, so maybe you can tune into that. Thank you.
Can you say the name again? I've never heard that before, but it feels spot on.
Portia, I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Saint Germain, what's showing up for that energy? Saint Germain, what's showing up for that energy?
I just couldn't stop smiling when I've heard these words. So when I first was given this role, I felt like I was like in a big room, like concrete, and it had a hole on the top, and everybody was looking up the top. But at the same time, we're not restricted by this building. And so I feel filled of joy that Portia joined me. I feel more related to the feminine. I feel related to aspects of this field that mentioned that about the feminine. I feel really connected to the movement of the water. I feel connected to anything and everything. I'm not just stuck in a time. I feel connected. There's no boundaries. Like it's like not linear. It's just like expansive. Yeah.
Thank you. Men now, what's showing up there? And then high vibe cosmic helpers.
When I first came on, there was a lot of pain, and I had it's like overwhelming, a bag of emotions that I didn't know what to do with. And it was quite intense. And then now I'm hearing Saint Germain and Portia talk. I feel more soothed and relieved and interested in the twin flame, the two of them being there, that as an energy being present. So I feel a bit calmer and able to open my eyes.
Thank you. Something clearing, and then high vibe cosmic helpers.
I was having shivers all over my body, which is my sign that I'm in the field, and then there was it still is something in my throat that's wanting to kind of clear. When Saint Germain spoke, I really felt a sense of relief. And I'm also wearing blue, the same color here, and there's something there with the water and the movement, and yeah, something's wanting to clear still.
Thank you for that. High vibe cosmic helpers.
When Women of Lemuria was talking, I heard that a programming for separation between the sexes was really installed during this time. Something happened, and there's this programming about that. And that what's is shifting for people is this restraint, like a restraining bolt or restraining programming within us to keep things silent and keep things separate. So there's which they're saying you're part of, Jack, is this big movement, and the other dimensions, higher dimensions, to help humanity get rid of, transform these restraining bolts, restraining programming that's within our frequencies. And it has to disconnect somehow to Lemuria.
Thank you. Still aware that women now did not come into the field. So I'm aware of that. So let's just be present to that and see if that shows up for us. Lemuria, go ahead, and then what we need to see and learn.
Something is collapsing. The conversation that was going on with the other reps, it was just collapsing this. Yeah, it's like all the joy, all the love, everything is just completely draining out. It's like civilization lost, or love lost, or joy is lost. It's just collapsing. It's not connecting with anything anymore. This is just, there's an implosion happening. Yeah, there's an implosion happening.
So I'll name from the channel material I've read from Cryon that Lemuria was a much larger landmass, but it was sort of created a bit by a bubble of lava and magma, and it's in the Hawaii, what is now Hawaii area, and that the landmass started to sink, and people had to, the beings there, the humans there had to disperse. I don't know that that's true, but that's what I'm currently reading, and it is lining up with what the rep for Lemuria is speaking to, and is what is now Hawaii is the remains of a much larger landmass. And the people had to leave. The people had to leave. So I just want to name that. I'd like to test things that way and just see if they resonate as true into the field. Who needs to speak? What we need to see and learn, go ahead.
I feel that something happened with the men. Like the women were fine, but just look at the men. I don't know, they were sacrificed. I don't know. It's just, it's pressing me. It's pressing me to go. It just, oh. I'm carrying a big load on my back. I'm not able to stand up.
Yeah.
Just feel that I'm pushed from up behind me, just pushed. Look at the men, look at the men. Something happened with the men. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, Christiane, if you feel that call, please do. Also, let's bring in another rep for the lands the people dispersed to. The lands the people dispersed to. So let's have that in the field. If someone's called, turn on your camera. Christiane, if you can change your name if you know how. If not, Steph, Christiane's representing the women now. Men now, go ahead.
When Lemuria was talking about collapse, I just felt like shouting, no, like a real devastating energy and collapse. And it was just too much. And my head hurts, but now it's gone. Now I'm talking about it. Yeah, devastation is the word I'm getting.
Thank you. The men of Lemuria, go ahead.
So I didn't track whether anything happened to us, but several other reps spoke about there being a divide between the men and women. What this rep feels is that discipline and tradition are the most important, and we don't feel emotions. We're not allowed to feel emotions. It's discipline and tradition is what we're about.
Word duty comes to me. duty, duty, duty.
Thank you. Something clearing feels like the children. Go ahead and change your name. Women of Lemuria.
When something happened to the men in Lemuria, and we had to step up, and we became the women and the men. We were doing both. So there's no connection to men in Lemuria. There is more connection from the women of Lemuria to today's men.
Interesting. Lemuria, go ahead.
This is out. This is like complete collapse and down and out. Every time I touch into that role, it's like, bam, I'm down, I'm out.
I want you to flow down, out, and flow up somewhere else.
Okay.
I think you're flowing up to different land masses.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a sensation of like heat on top and drowning. So if I go into it fully, it's quite overwhelming. Okay. I'll try and resurface somewhere else.
Who needs to speak?
What Lemuria is going through, what Lemuria is going through is really, really caught my attention, and I feel like I'm almost like disappearing through the toroidal field and reappearing in other places. And I'm very aware of Saint Germain and Portia. I feel like they're like it feels like some kind of family.
Thank you. Would it be appropriate to name you Children of Lemuria?
I'm not sure if I'm Children of Lemuria. That resonates, and also Saint Germain and Portia. Like they're just it's and all. But like it's almost like I'm and my whole body is shivering, or there's chills, and it's like I'm dispersing and reappearing or coming through. And my attention is totally on Lemuria.
We've only got a couple more minutes, so I'm going to keep that in mind. So for our Palladians, Arcturians, and Metatron, just kind of starting to clean up the energies more as we start to move energetically towards closure. Men now, what's showing up for them?
I'm pleased to see that the women now are here. I really wanted to grasp onto Lemuria when you said, "Oh, let it disperse and show up somewhere." So it was almost like I'm trying to gather water and hold on to water, and I can't. So I'm doing that, as well as I feel like I want to protect the children, but actually I feel relieved that it feels like they're the new children of the earth, is the word I'm getting, that they're here to assist. And I feel relieved that it's like something I couldn't do, or we couldn't do. I don't really notice anyone else anymore. Just like, I'm pleased the women are here.
Let's just name, it seems like there was a great tragedy and a great split that are showing up. Those are kind of the two big energies. Saint Germain, Portia seem to be providing positive support for us, for the field. What we need to see and learn, go ahead.
I checked again and again. It's just coming that the men had to sacrifice themselves for the future, for women and children to go on. And I checked again, and I had to say it. That's true for me.
Thank you. Men of Lemuria or men now? Any impacts or response?
This one doesn't want to hear that. It's blocking it out, and is conscious that it's blocking it out.
Why doesn't that one want to hear it? What happens when it's heard? Is it the pain?
I think that's right, but it's the blocking out is super strong. It doesn't wanna see it.
Thank you.
That's interesting because I feel
Mary-
like I was happy to take that. That was my role. But now I'm hearing Lemuria. It's like, oh, hang on. Where were they?
It's interesting. It's like we're seeing a original trauma, very big trauma, social trauma. What we need to see and learn. Go ahead.
The men didn't want to do that. They had to. That was their karma, their job, whatever. It was a mission for them. They didn't want to do that. It was a duty.
Let's try these words. The men of Lemuria. It was a sacrifice.
It was a sacrifice. We did our duty.
Thank you. Who else wants to speak? Children, go ahead. Got about 2 or 3 more minutes.
I feel like I want support at my back, and I'm paying attention to the light of the hair of Lemuria. It looks like light, and also the land, and I'm really aware of trees, and I want support.
So for the children, just look that at least in this micro field, we have Arcturians with the Palladians. We even have the women of Lemuria back in the day. Perhaps we have the men of Lemuria. And I hear you that need more support. We have Metatron. Just try these words for the children. There's not enough support for me.
I'm acutely aware of like the father, the men. I want to call you. Calling you.
So call them.
Yeah. I see you.
Men now, go ahead.
I wasn't sure if she was referring to me, but I feel like I want to grab Lemuria and pull her up.
I don't know if that's the movement. It actually may be more of a movement of grieving on top. So
Yeah.
like put hands on the back and grieving.
Yeah, I
Something
guess
happened.
there's
Maybe
still a denial of it going, so it wants to pull it up.
and maybe there are some people even in our group today that have had lifetimes back. Thank you, Metatron. Who needs to speak? Got 2 more minutes. Lemuria, go ahead.
There's definitely a full-on collapse, like into the depths of the ocean, and really only felt like a very small piece of the back was there, and the collective of this concept, it's like it hears the of everything. It hears the children, and it's like the consciousness of that place is sad that it couldn't support the children, especially.
Thank you.
And it hears the it hears the children wanting to pull, but it's not possible. This is like beyond. This is like something that catastrophically had to happen for whatever reason. So that it's like the tip of the iceberg of what was is the only thing that remains.
Thank you. Yeah, from top to bottom, the island, I believe the volcano on either Kauai or Maui, I'm not sure, is actually the tallest from the very base. It's taller than Mount Everest from the base to the peak.
Wow.
Under the ocean floor. So for those on the outside watching, let's see if you can just hold space for the grief, just allow a feel if there's any grief of a social tragedy, and just hold and welcome in the highest way, the highest vibration way. Land stages first, do you have anything to share? Xandra, for that one?
I have headache going down this whole side of my face, and I was watching my eyes and my head dart around because I see this massive disperse of people going all different directions, almost like standing in the middle of like a complete collapse and trying to wave people into certain directions and put people into others, and then trying to figure out how we fit everyone here or there. And there's so much anger about people being left behind, and certain people that were sacrificed to be left behind. There's a lot of perspectives, but it almost, I got flashes of like the Titanic almost sinking, like trying to get enough people into boats and trying to get people crossing certain areas and getting resources. And so the lands feel this like heavy, saturated holding, trying to ground all of the big energies that are coming towards it, but there's chaos happening. And so the lands are trying to ground out the energy, but the nervous systems are so up, they're going the wrong direction. And so the land feels a lot, and there's also burning as there is water coming.
It's the lavas probably. Thank you. Okay, so let's give a space to the grief. I'm sure in some ways, whether this happened, whether this didn't happen, certainly has happened to many societies that we've been a part of, I believe, in past lives. Seems like there was a sacrifice made of the men. There was a split between the men and the women in some way, and the children. So let's give a heart to this energy and also stay connected to our own divinity. So not let it overwhelm us, staying connected to our own core, spark, divinity, essence, frequency, and vibration. Anything, well, and gratitude for being able to look at this and understand more of the journey. Women of Lemuria, go ahead.
The words we loved, we cared, but that wasn't enough. It's coming.
Thank you. Anyone else have to say anything? Anything burning before we close? Women now.
Yeah, my heart was just pounding, and there was a sense of knowing I was to come in and then waiting and waiting until the right time and then coming in. And there's a feeling of holding space. And as women, we know, and we know the truth. And we're also overcompensating with the masculine and trying to be the men. And there's gratitude for Saint Germain and for Shia for representing the divinity of the divine masculine and feminine. And the internal divide that got created, you're representing the union externally, and that harmony of coming back together inside and outside in relationships again. And so there's hope.
Thank you. Water, and then if anyone else has anything burning that has to be said.
almost feeling resistance, like, and it's deep, feels deep and dark and cold, and just like lapping up against something.
Thank you. Anything else that has to be said before we close? Portia?
This is one of those ones I feel a little nuts saying, but I noticed the painting behind Lemuria, and it really looks Aboriginal to me. And I'm just seeing opal everywhere. And I'm like, anywhere there's opal, there's Lemuria. The water turned into the rock in this intense heat pressure. And from a constellation perspective, like, to go back to the place with which one stands or which one comes from, there's something to do with that. And I intuitively feel like the Arcturians placed some saving in this rock and the original people in Australia.
Thank you. Anyone else have to say anything before we close? Anything burning that has to be said? Okay. Let's take this, let's hold this sacred. I didn't know if what would show up. Let's go ahead and bless these rolls. Again, let's let the high vibration cosmic helpers, especially Saint Germain and Portia, stay in the longest. We'll kind of help release the energies to them and to the field, to myself in some ways. Let's bless this story for whatever reason, what the field wanted to show us. Original split in some way, perhaps, between the men and women. It's important to note. Wow. And also the collapse of this society, the destruction, the trauma. I didn't know if we'd get that. I didn't know if we'd just get happy times. The field wanted to show us this. And take a breath. Just